Well, it was an incredible experience. There were 20,000 people there, a lot of young people, all kind of different issues represented. Of course, most of it had to do with NATO. And Carlos Montes was actually there marching with us, and we had a large contingent. Jesse Jackson spoke and led it off, but of course the most moving part, next to the fact that there were 20,000 people there, was the Iraq Vets Against the War that turned in their medals. It was just an incredible day.
We need to have public places like this and gatherings of that many people to show how wrong it is for detached bodies like NATO to, now they're going to have their own drones. I don't know what kind of jurisdiction is going to allow this. We have an increasing surveillance state that is really disturbing. And there were just, thousands and thousands of people willing to show up and say no. We left Saturday night at 10 o'clock. We got to the park. Minneapolis contingent was the first there at 5:30 in the morning. So we got to meet a lot of press, a lot of police. I would reiterate what Sarah said, especially about all the young people that were there. And unfortunately, the press, I think, tends to give them a bad name, even if they're anarchists or part of the Black Bloc. But I marched alongside the Black Bloc through the entire march, and it was just a fun young group who did nothing along the march to warrant any kind of police brutality or repression.
Well, my experience was quite different. I did not go on the march because I was with people who were disabled. It is a myth that we do humanitarian intervention, and also the history of NATO is very interesting because it started out as the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, but after the collapse of Russia, or of the Soviet Union, they got many more new members, and so it became much larger, and not just the North Atlantic, and it also became just the military arm of the U.S. government, and since the U.S. government is controlled by corporations at this time, that's what it is. It's an army. It's an army for the corporation. There's always this complaint, well, they have so many different causes, but they don't understand. Everybody who was there was really focused on no to NATO, and yet at the same time they had their own issues and signs for their own issues, and yet there was that unity and diversity, and it was just beautiful.
The sad thing is, well, one of the cons is that we didn't have the G8s personally there to protest against, but on the good hand, we scared them away to Camp David because they felt they needed to be in a secluded, more secure spot. So that in itself brought even attention more than probably would have. But the NATO forces were still there. That and the G8 are the reasons why the world globally is in an uprising. It brought attention not only to the U.S. and the U.S. people, that we all need to, as citizens of the world, we all need to uprise against the corporate powers, the political powers that prefer to keep people down. And then we were all kind of like one big happy community for at least a day. So.
Think you accomplished anything?
It accomplished a lot, because any big event like this brings out the education and awareness to even more people who have never heard of NATO, forget what NATO was about, how it began, and a little bit more about the G8 and what that means, the leaders of the world getting together and trying to divide up the world. The vets against the wars. Iraq against the war. Iraq's against the war, and also Afghanistan.
And the Vietnam vets were there as well.
So how they threw the medals back in protest to NATO, I thought that was very symbolic. It was just absolutely wonderful, and we thank them for standing up, even though they were probably duped in fighting the powers that be wars, but at least we know we were all fighting to end global domination by